Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to this classic class of 1982 Honda ATC 70 project that we've got on the table over here. If you've been following along with this one for a bit, it's been a while since we worked on it, and the last time we made a video, I think we pretty much cut it in half. And we have a shop and parts manager who has gotten into a fight with a funnel. Okay, sorry about that. Richard, our parts manager, decided he was going to get into a fight with a funnel. He's been doing this quite a bit lately. But anyway, we're trying to get this 4-inch frame extension installed in our 1982 ATC 70 project that we cut in half on our last video quite some time ago. And I've got my manual here. I figured where better to look other than the manual. And I'm on the frame page, and I can't find this part in there. So hopefully we can get this figured out. And we're not going to drag this out. This isn't about how to weld and all that stuff. This is just going to be more about the process I went through to maintain proper alignment of the head tube. So with that being said, let's jump right into this. So I have a few videos on this project already. It's a few months back, but you need to go back and probably watch them to kind of understand how we got to where we are today. The last time we were working on this, we cut this because we're putting the 4-inch frame extension in there. And what I did before I cut it was I put a piece of painter's tape on there, basically kind of as an alignment mark. And we're going to reference that again as we go to put this in there. And this is the TJ Smith 4-inch extension. This is where you get your 4 inches right here. I kind of worked with this, ahead of time because there is a bit of rust scale in here, and in a perfect world, I'd probably sandblast that out. But I cleaned it up the best I could. We might have to tap it with the hammer. But what we're going to do is we're going to get this all fitted up, and then I'm going to show you how we're going to align this. So, as you can see, it's not going right in there, but it's going to go in. And I'm going to use this big brass hammer. There you go. So that piece is in. And why brass? Because brass is softer than steel, so it doesn't damage the steel. Little piece of information on this hammer. This was actually made by my grandpa, Richard Wells, several years ago. It was kind of passed down to me, and so I keep it around and use it. All right, let's slap this on there real quick. This one's going on a little better. Might be able to get away with the rubber mallet. Richard's got something else now. Okay, so she's closed up. So, as you can see, this is not turning easily. Hold on a minute. What has he got now? Okay, sorry about that. Once again, our parts manager apparently has too much time on his hands. He wants to play instead of work. Anyway, I've got this all put together. You kind of saw what I did. One of the things I'm going to do to help get this head tube here perfectly aligned is I'm going to slap a set of forks on it real quick. And then I'm going to use the flatness of my table and then where the forks sit down on the table to help get this properly aligned. So let me throw that on there real quick. If you've watched more than one of my videos, you know about this tool from Stewart Cycle and ATV. Comes in really handy. Okay, we're not going for final assembly on this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I've got this on a good flat surface back here. I'm going to get these positioned properly, and that will allow me to put a little bit of force on this to turn it if I need to. But getting back to my tape, I'm going to use this speed square. I know, it's for carpentry, but I'm using that speed square to ensure that we're still lined up, and we are. So I think we're in good shape here. At this point, it's probably time to tack this, and then I'm going to remove these forks to do the final welding. But another thing I want to point out, probably not 100% necessary, but I did, for this, I'm going to plug weld it as well. You see I've drilled some holes here and here, basically to just make sure I get a good bite on that inner extension piece that goes inside of the frame here. So let me get the welder set up. Let me get a good tack on this so it doesn't turn on me. We'll pop the forks off, and then we'll go in and we'll do the final welding. All right, guys, got the welder set up. Went ahead and we let Richard out of the shop. He currently does not own a welding helmet, and the way he's acting today, I'm pretty sure he would look at it even if I told him not to. So before we get into welding this up real quick, a good buddy of mine, also got a YouTube channel, This Old Trike, Preston Frazier, earlier this year, he did the exact same process with the extension. And he's got a really good video on where he welded this up. And let me just give you a quick clip of what he did real quick.
Yeah, I know. It's atrocious. I'm really trying to. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, I guess. But I'm gonna make it look like that in a minute. Here we go.
All right, so hopefully I can do half as good a job as Preston did. So we'll see how this turns out. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna tack this on each end, and I'm gonna pop these forks off, and then we're gonna get into doing the plug welds and then finishing up the welds. Actually, let me put my gloves on. All right, we'll try this again. All right. Okay, I don't think that's going anywhere. So you can see I just threw a couple beads on there real quick, and then I'm going to pop this front fork off. All right, got that off there. I'm going to lay this down on its side real quick to do these plug welds. And you know, when you do this, make sure that you've got a moving blanket underneath your welding area that's, you know, likely to catch on fire. That always helps. I'm going to throw a couple blocks under here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit these two holes on this side. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. If you come in here and take a close look, this is kind of what you're looking for right here. Want to get a good bite with the internal sleeve that's in there and then the outer part of the frame. I'll flip this over and do the other side real quick. All right, got those taken care of. I think those turned out pretty good. If you take a quick look at it. And of course, we'll go back and grind those down. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get a few beads laid on the joints here. You know, you saw there's so much stuff inside of here from this extension, you know, going each direction. Like really, this is just a matter of keeping it from coming apart. I think you've already got your strength just by the length of this extension piece. So let me throw a couple welds on here. Okay. I'm not going to make you sit through the entire welding process, but it's getting there. This is a new helmet I have, so my auto darkening feature is off just a bit. So I'm going to throw a couple more beads on, and then we're going to call this a day. You know, this isn't like welding body panels. You could probably go through and weld this whole thing in one shot if you wanted to. I'm just kind of slow rolling it, to be honest with you. Okay. It certainly isn't going anywhere, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call that for now, and I'll come back off camera and finish welding this up, and then, of course, you know, you're going to want to grind that down. You don't have to get crazy with smoothing it out. I mean, this isn't, you can't really see this once you have a tank on and everything, but let me get this welding gear kind of cleaned up here real quick, and there's one more thing I want to show you before we close this video out today. Okay, one last thing I want to cover before we close this out. You're probably thinking to yourself, why a 4-inch extension? Everybody that runs an ape tank or whatever, they're doing 3-inch extensions and it fits perfectly. Well, I'm not running an ape tank. I'm running a super secret tank here from Sunday Motors flat track motorcycles that we're going to put on there. If you go back and you watch some of my previous videos, you can see where I've already kind of mocked this up. So at this point, once I finish up welding that extension in there, I've got to build some bracketry for this tank. It'll be pretty easy. Normally it has a stud that goes down through here to the frame that holds it. But again, if you look at my previous videos, the reason I went with the 4-inch extension is because I previously already fit everything up. I've got a full suspended front suspension for this from Full Send Wheelie Works that's going to be going on here eventually, which again I've got a video on. So I know that I have plenty of clearance here. Nothing's going to hit. I just got to get some bracketry made for this, and then it won't be long because I've got a big old motor to put in here as well. So, you know I get a lot of people ask me about the Full Send Wheelie Works kit, and I must be the last guy in the United States that actually received a product from them, because you can't buy them anymore. It seems like maybe they've gone defunct or something. But if you get on some of these Facebook groups for the ATCs and whatnot, you'll see there's a couple other people that have come out with very similar kits that are probably just as good, maybe even better. So there's some back out on the market again if you're interested in getting those. But other than that, I think that's going to do it for today. More than likely, the next time you see this, it may have color on it. That's kind of where I'm heading here next. So, been working on this project for a long time, and it's time to make some serious headway. So, thanks for watching. As like I always say, if you like what you're seeing here, please subscribe.